There was a single house beyond the wheat field, one that nobody talked about, but everyone noticed. It stood there long before the rest of the town grew around it, a slanted, gray skeleton of wood and rusted tin. Every year, the grass around it died faster than the rest. Nobody mowed it, nobody painted it, yet somehow it was never completely abandoned. When I moved into the small rental house nearby, the landlord told me to ignore the old property. "It's condemned," he said. "Nobody's lived there for decades." But I would see lights flickering from its attic window on windless nights. Slow, pulsing glows, almost like breathing. At first, I thought it was kids playing around, maybe thrill seekers breaking in. Then I realized the field between us was fenced, barbed wire and padlocked, and the lights didn't move like flashlights. They shimmered like fire seen through water. I made the mistake of watching too long one night. I remember the hum that came through my walls, low and uneven. I tried to record it on my phone, but the microphone only captured static. The next morning, my back door was open. I live alone. The lock wasn't broken, it was simply unlatched from the inside. Over the next few nights, I heard what I can only describe as footsteps, but not on my floor. They came from inside the walls. The rhythm matched the sound of someone pacing, stopping, turning, pacing again. My cat refused to go near that side of the house. I moved his food bowl closer to the living room, but he barely ate. I called the landlord again. He said, "You're not the first tenant to complain about noises." Then his tone lowered. "Whatever you do, don't go looking for the source." A week later, a storm hit. The wind howled so loudly it drowned out everything, except a single heavy knock on my back door at 2:13 a.m. It came 3 times, then silence. I watched from the kitchen window. Through the rain, across the field, the attic window of the old house glowed again. But this time, it wasn't light. It was a face. When I went outside the next morning, my field was flattened. Every stalk of wheat between my house and the old one was pressed down in a straight path. The fence was still locked, but there were fresh handprints in the mud, small, childlike, leading back to my porch. The landlord stopped returning my calls. By the end of the month, I left everything behind, the furniture, the keys, even the cat. As I drove away, I looked once more at the old house. The attic window was open now, and for a moment, I saw something looking out, something that looked exactly like me.
When I worked night shifts as a security guard at an abandoned office park, there was one floor I hated, the 8th. It was supposed to be sealed, asbestos cleanup, they said, but my radio would always crackle with voices when I passed its stairwell door. At first, I thought it was interference from nearby frequencies. Then one night, my supervisor radioed me. "Camera 8's showing motion," he said. That was impossible. All power was cut from that level. Still, I climbed the stairs. My flashlight beam sliced through layers of dust. The walls were covered in what looked like static burn marks, hundreds of tiny gray dots. In one of the cubicles, an old CRT monitor was still plugged in, though the outlet had no power. It was turned on, showing nothing but white noise. And beneath that sound, there was breathing. I turned off my radio to test it. The breathing continued. Slow, heavy, wet. It seemed to echo through the static, syncing with my heartbeat. The screen flickered once, and an image appeared. Not clear, but enough to see shapes. Desks, chairs, and someone standing right behind where I was sitting. I didn't turn around. I grabbed my flashlight, ran down the stairwell, and locked the 8th floor door with the chain. But my radio came alive again, the same static, this time whispering words I couldn't fully understand. Only one repeated clearly, "Stay." The next morning, my boss said they checked the feeds. "There's no camera on 8, he told me. Hasn't been for years. That was my last night there. A week later, I read online that the entire building had been demolished after a fire started from the top floors. The article said the only casualty was an unidentified man found burned near the 8th floor stairwell, holding a melted walkie-talkie.
I like recording nature sounds, birds, rain, wind through trees. It's peaceful, and it helps me sleep. I had been collecting audio clips for years, but last autumn I captured something that still makes my stomach twist. There's a nature reserve near my town with no cell service and miles of hiking trails. I went there early one morning, set up my recorder, and left it running while I walked. When I came back 2 hours later, the device had stopped recording after exactly 13 minutes. I didn't think much of it. Maybe the battery had died. But when I listened that night, I realized the recording didn't sound right. It started with forest ambience, leaves, wind, distant crows. Then, a sudden sharp click, followed by a voice whispering my name. It wasn't possible. I was alone out there. I checked the waveform. The voice came from very close to the mic, like someone leaning in to speak directly into it. I tried boosting the audio. Behind the whisper, I could hear something else. Quiet footsteps circling the recorder. Then another whisper, softer. "You shouldn't have left it." I deleted the file immediately. The next morning, I found a flash drive on my porch. No note, just the drive wrapped in dead leaves. It contained one file, 13 minutes long, the same recording but with a new ending. In it, I heard the sound of my own car door opening, footsteps on gravel, and breathing, like someone hiding on the back seat. I didn't sleep that night. I checked the car in the morning. Everything looked fine, but my seatbelt was fastened on the passenger side, tight, like it had been buckled around someone invisible. I stopped going to the forest after that, but sometimes when I record indoors, faintly, in the background, I can still hear leaves crunching and a whisper saying my name.
I moved into a basement apartment last winter. It was cheap, small, and always cold, even when I turned up the heat. The landlord said the building used to have an old boiler system before they switched to modern heating. "You might hear pipes knocking," he said. "Don't worry about it." But the knocking wasn't random. It came in sets, 3 short taps, pause, 2 long ones, like a code. I thought it was just plumbing, until one night I dropped my keys near the kitchen vent and heard them fall farther than they should have, like they dropped into open space. The next day, I shined a flashlight down the vent. It didn't show pipes, it showed stairs. Rusty, narrow metal steps descending into darkness. I called maintenance. They came, looked confused, and said there was no record of any lower level, but I couldn't unsee it. That night, I heard something dragging beneath my floor, slow, heavy, scraping metal. Then the knocking again, closer this time, right below my bed. I moved the rug and found a small square outline, a hidden hatch. I covered it with a dresser, trying to forget it. But the next morning, the dresser was moved 3 inches to the side. The floor was damp. The knocking stopped after that, replaced by a faint sound of breathing through the vent. I started sleeping with earplugs, but I'd wake up to find the vent cover unscrewed, lying neatly beside the hole. 2 months later, new tenants moved in upstairs. I heard them dragging furniture late into the night, then a scream. The police came the next day. I didn't tell them what I knew. They found an old service door in the building's foundation, cemented shut from the outside. When they broke it open, they discovered a single underground room filled with rusted tools, water-stained walls, and a mattress that looked recently used. The maintenance team sealed my vent the next morning, but sometimes when I drop something on the floor, I still hear it bounce, and then another sound, echoing from deep below, like someone throwing it back.